Oh, yeah. I'm just messing with you. We know it's on.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Okay, cool.
All right. Hey, Stephen, can you see, is there anyone in the waiting room? Is anyone joining us or anyone logged in?
I'm here.
Oh, wow. So we do have a tech guy.
In Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and then we have another tech guy in
Here.
Here who's gone, who's supposed to be here. So
Yeah.
this is what happens when the guys try to run things. And then Linda's not even here either.
Yeah. But it's okay. We got the painting stuff figured out. Totally fine. Tech stuff. Yeah, just bear with us for sure in that aspect of things. Cool.
Anyways,
Well,
hey, we just want to say Hugh Mongo, welcome. Thanks for being here. This is actually our very, very first webinar. We probably wouldn't even done it until like close to the end of the year, but we have some really, really great partners all over the country. We've got two guys, owner and partner down in Florida. We've got another guy up in Pennsylvania, another one in Calgary,
Canada. Yeah.
which they look like us. They sort of talk like us, but they are
Not
it's so funny though. Yeah. Richard is a fabulous guy. And then we've got a bunch of people here. So we just wanted to like put a stake in the ground and like talk about kind of the background idea behind Painting in the Box and all that cool stuff. Probably, I think starting in December, I think every other week, I've got to look at the schedule to make sure that we'll be producing like live content where like we can do like Q&A and all that stuff. Like I think one of the first ones we're probably going through something like roller covers or like paint schemes, all that cool stuff. And then we'll take it from there. So why don't we just go a little bit about our backgrounds. We'll start with TJ's on the end and then Aaron, and then I'll talk a little bit about myself.
Yeah. TJ. We all here together work for a company called Metcalf Paint, which Joseph being the owner of Metcalf Paint. I do help out with the sales side of things. Joined them about 1.5 years ago. I was a teacher before then. In between summers of teaching, I did help a little bit in the painting field of stuff. Honestly, was like never going back into the paint industry of things. Don't like painting, don't want to do it. But here I am today and I love it. In the last 1.5 years, learned a lot. So yeah, it's cool to be here.
Yep. I'm Aaron. I joined the team almost 6 years ago now. And ever since, the painting game has been everything I've been consuming. So absolutely love it. Best team truly in the world. I like painting, but more so I am passionate about the people in the industry and specifically our team we have here.
So like you're leaving out a blazing fact about yourself. So this guy's a major entrepreneur as well. And what is your favorite business?
Yeah, so actually I might have
turn off. I should have mentioned it, but
well, it goes like this. So I got another business. Truly is my passion. I started it over 10 years ago. And I'm either everyone's best friend or their worst friend because I'm one of the largest breeders of pythons in the country. So I have a facility outside of our hometown that's full of lots and lots of pythons, which is either things of nightmares for some people or the things of dreams for others. So either way, I don't care. I understand snakes ain't everyone's thing. It's not. I'm very partial to dogs as well too, but I also like the reptiles.
That's great.
Nightmare for me, for sure.
I'm
Yeah, I know.
Joseph, and when he said I was the owner, not really technically true. We have a lot of partners in the business, and they're like fabulous, top tier people. A little bit about myself. I'm 35 years old. I actually studied to become a doctor because we've got a lot of doctors in the family. So my formal training is in biochemistry. And my twin brother, I've got an identical twin brother. He talked me into painting with him for like a summer with another painting company. Ended up going out on our own for a couple of years. He saved up enough to go do his thing. He's actually studying, is it philosophy, doctor in philosophy,
Yep.
in Boston right now. But that's where the journey started. Partner with some really good people. And I don't know, we'll get into the background stuff later on Painting in the Box, I guess.
Yeah, on the Painting in the Box, we'll get it.
So I was just a born and bred entrepreneur. When I was 20 years old, I started first firework business. We had like 2 retail stands and then went back down to 1. So I was the guy. I was also a track and field and cross country athlete. So I was on the bus while everyone else was watching TV. I was doing like, inventory sheets and all this fun, glamorous stuff. So yeah, we can have that conversation later. Just total failure the first 3 days in, lost everything, but recovered from it. So we're probably on our 7th or 8th company or holding company. Our family does a lot of investing with businesses all over the world. So, but like this primary business we're involved in here in Norfolk, Nebraska, like we're in really cool high-end homes, low-end homes, get to meet a lot of really fun people. And those experiences are what brought like the Paint InaBox idea to fruition. Probably, I want to say 3 years ago. It's almost 3 years ago. I think it was January 2022. So I think we'll get into that later.
Yeah, but with Metcalf Paint, we're doing anything from interior to exterior painting.
Oh yeah, if we could pan this camera, because like normally we would have a camera, but it's actually my office laptop. Like we're just looking at our entire paint shop. This is actually a spray booth back here.
Yeah.
So this was live. We had to move doors out of the spray booth.
Yeah, today.
Yeah, we got cabinet doors all around, different things like that. So yeah.
Anyways, so what you got?
Yeah, so just gonna really be authentic here. We have some questions that we just want to go ahead and answer.
But before we get into those, this episode is sponsored by Planters Honey Roasted Peanuts. Phenomenal, highly recommend.
Yeah, to be honest,
Very
we're
good.
like, hey, can we even do an hour talking without snacks or whatever it may be? So we figured we'd try the peanut first. But really, we'll just go down the list. If you have any questions, please go ahead and put it in the chat. In the last 10, 15 minutes or so, we can go ahead and answer questions that you guys have. Otherwise, you can just hear us ramble on up here.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be.
Good.
So,
All right, what you
all
got?
right, first question, and it's a fun one. If you're in the audience, you can even reflect on it too. But I just want us to go through, answer, what's the very first thing you've ever painted before? Or like your first DIY painting project that you did?
I'll go first. Mine was forced. I did my last 2 years of school in a small town in New Mexico called Portales. And we had like there's an advisory board for all the athletes, and I happened to be on that board, and we did some community service hours, and so we painted just playground equipment. So I'm up there, never painted before, and like I just remember, oh my gosh, they're doing such a terrible job. Give me the brush. Then I went away at it, and I didn't know at the time that I was going to paint at all. So probably, I think like 8 months later or something like that, I started painting with my brother, another gentleman, and away it went. So that's my big claim to fame is playground equipment.
Do you think it's still standing today?
I don't know. I need to go back and look at it. It's one of those like super old parks where like the equipment was probably put in like 40 years ago.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Where's it at?
Portales, New Mexico. So if you go to Amarillo, go 2 hours south and you'll hit Clovis and then Portales. Clovis is known for a great, nice big Air Force base. And I actually saw a B-1B fly out of there one
That's
time.
sick.
It was super sick. And then they have the Osprey, and I met one guy, we're going on a tangent, probably shouldn't, but I met one guy that was a pilot for one of the Osprey, and I was like, what do you do? And he's like, I can't tell you, which yeah,
That's
it's
pretty
just code for probably Special Forces.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, so if anyone makes it down there, check out the playground. Let us
Yeah,
know.
check out the playground.
Curious to see
Is it
how
still
it
there?
is.
For me, well, so the first painting project I got on, you guys hired me, and I ran a big telehandler for you all day, and then masked and stuff, and you guys like, wow, you're really good at masking for starting. But something I distinctly remember was like the next week, me and Micah were painting in a basement, and he set me up or whatever, and you guys, I don't even know what you guys are doing. You're like, here, paint this, and left. And I was painting, and I had never picked up a brush in my entire life. And I'm painting, and Micah, if you ask Micah this story, he'll be like, I was watching you paint, and I'm thinking, well, maybe they taught him something different or whatever. And after a while, Micah came over to me. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, I've never touched a paintbrush in my life, dude. He's like, okay, this makes sense. Hey, come here. So he showed me how to actually cut, and I mean, we were not cutting anything nice at all, but it was very memorable. I will never forget that.
Funny.
I'm very good now. I can tell you that.
Yes, I can reassure that as well. For me, I even think about even just 4 years ago, in a rental house, walls were painted and they didn't paint the ceilings. So I was like, oh, I can paint the ceilings. And even the other night, I was reading a book with my daughter, and I look up and I remembered that I did not trim or cut around the edges, so I just rolled as close as I could without hitting the wall.
Now we
And,
find out.
and I thought it looked great. Like I remember even being so proud, being like, tell my wife, like, hey,
Who
look
are
at
you
this.
with?
Hey, this is
Who is
hey,
watching over you?
This is where you live now?
ago. I'm not here painting, so this is before my painting journey begins.
Oh, okay. I
but-
thought you were here doing
Yeah, no,
that.
you're good, you're good. And so I remember now looking at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, never would I do that to this day. And also I'm like, I can clearly see the previous color before. So it's like a nice bright white with almost a blue tint right next to it. So
This is where you
yeah.
live now?
Yeah, right.
I
now.
never
So-
noticed this.
so come in.
I'm gonna notice
Painted
next
the
time I'm
outside of
over.
that- painted the outside of that house.
I painted outside.
I
of
was
it,
making
too.
fun of you too. Oh my gosh, it took them like forever.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
I've learned a lot though, since I've been here. So yeah, that's funny.
Good
That's
deal.
awesome.
So I've been painting for, let's see, it was summer. Oh my goodness, this was 10 years this summer. This July was 10 years. And then one of our other major partners, Linda, you'll see her like in a lot of the training videos, and she'll be in a lot of the
She's
Q&A.
doing it before I was born.
Oh, man. Basically, I think like they ran a really large farm, but then she's a go-getter and just started, I think, painting and faux people, not fauxing people, but fauxing walls. Good Lord, have mercy on the side. Anyways, she's like the true artist. Faux finished cabinets, glazing, like just really
Yep.
complex stuff.
Colors. We run her for
colors.
colors.
Like up front, we'll send you some photos. Sometimes we've got this rust wall, and
That thing is cool.
Oh yeah, it's so sick. So right as you walk in our showroom, it's like a metal paint, and then she actually used water and then some kind of exciter or something that kind of speeds up the rust
Activate it,
process
yeah.
to activate it. So it's real rust. It's crazy. So that's she's the guru around here.
Yep.
So she would probably.
She's old school
She
too.
could take the master title. There's not very many of her left.
Yeah, and with that, so Linda, so our paint team from office back to painters is about 10 to 12 people. So we're very thankful for the team we have. So that's cool. So fun. Okay. All right. Out of all of the painting processes of things, what's your guys' favorite? So I'm thinking of like prepping in the sense of masking, maybe taping, maybe it's filling, whatever it may be, painting, whatever.
I'm definitely masking. For some reason, I just like it. I can like all day. Actually, could be caulking. I love caulking.
Okay.
I like rolling flat walls. Real nice one, brand new house. And I love frog taping like brand new painted trim. When we finish trim and we're ready to do walls, I love taping the trim up. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Satisfying.
Yeah, I'd say the same, masking for sure. There's a lot of cool things in the sense of different challenges with masking. But that's also where most of my expertise is in, is the masking
I think
portion.
you only mask for like 2.
Yeah, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
And there's still like questions of like, oh, what do I use for this or that? I think rolling the walls is cool because that's when you start really seeing the transformations take place of that black color to that whatever one you choose, whatever it may be. So I would say that's our favorite. So now that we asked our favorite, what's the least favorite process? If we're talking interior painting.
Hate scraping stuff.
Yeah.
Goodness. Especially if it's on a ceiling and you're wearing safety glasses or you've got the mask or like priming a place or you got to suit up. Maybe you're like oil priming your
Well, I was gonna say
suit,
oil priming.
You got a mask on, it's summertime and it's on a confined spot. Yeah, that's not very fun.
Yeah, I'd say spraying inside in the summer when it's super humid and you're like, there's all the condensation in your mask and you're just like, I feel like I can't breathe because it's so hot and humid. I don't like that.
Fair. I hate sanding. I'm just like,
I actually don't
I-
mind seeing.
I just feel like
Trim or walls?
Trim.
I love sanding trim. Sanding trim is
not
great.
necessarily big, but I'm just like, it's messy, it's dusty. I'm like, you can't go too hard because if you do, then you might ruin all your patchwork that you did or whatever it may be. It's tedious, so I'm just like, sanding. It's not my favorite thing for sure.
That's fair.
So,
That's fair.
but
I like the
I
tedious
disagree.
stuff.
yeah.
I like the prep tedious stuff. That's kind of my favorite stuff.
Yeah. or like Aaron said, earlier, like holding all the masking when you're all done, getting those crisp, clean lines, everything like that.
That feels
Only
good.
if it doesn't break, and then you have to touch it up.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, if anyone is in here, go ahead and you can even drop in your favorite process or the process you don't like the most, and we can sure laugh with you on that later. Yeah, so that's a lot about of who we are, of just Metcalf Paint, and how we are helping our local community of just giving them the high quality painting results that they're looking for.
And like, we don't want to make it sound like it's easy. I remember when Jonathan and I, my twin, we sprayed these two, like, this was back in like 2015, 3 upright in exterior doors, and we sprayed them with the wrong tip, wrong paint. And then we get around, we were trying to do it in one coat, so we're going heavy and we're like passing four times over, which is a big no-no. And they're upright doors, and then we get around one side and I look at the back and like the whole door's dripping.
I've heard this story.
It took 50 hours to finish. I mean, to fix. It was ridiculous. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
We just hope the playground's not like that.
Nah, playground's good. So we just want to let you guys know that we're people too. Quality control is a humongo problem in painting. And that was like some of the like idea and basis off of Painting in the Box is like, this stuff is really hard, can be really hard. There's not a one fix all, even if you watch the best courses, best tools, best all that stuff, but we want to like bring it down and make it way easier. Because like going out to the store, like I know what I'm picking out, but can I pick out 46 items from the store and not have to go back to Menards or Home Depot or Lowe's again? Absolutely not.
Or even know what those tools
Oh
do.
yeah. And depending on what you're painting, like the first course we came out with was a wall painting course because we felt like, hey, that's what most people start with. But like it's depending on what the surface is, right? So if you're doing your ceilings or walls or trim or doors, you may pick different tools for that. So
Yeah, no, for sure. I feel like you know, with the whole Metcalf Paint side of things, we've had the opportunity to make all the mistakes. And we continually will, because I mean, we just know that, hey, we're all here to just grow and become better in what we do. And a lot of what we talk about is like, hey, let's just get 1% better today. But our hope is that you guys don't have to make those mistakes that we've already made, or also save the money from having to spend the next 50 hours fixing a door.
in your time,
Or your time, or your investments of your home, you know, that you're trying to keep or whatever it may be. So that's our goal to you guys, is that we can just try to help you in those ways as much as possible. Which I feel like this is leaning really good into the next thing of like, what is Painting the Box?
Okay, so actually, do you want to?
Or actually, let's not even do that. Where did the idea of Painting the Box come from?
Okay, so I was running all the sales a couple years ago, and I had several calls. What cemented it is there was someone I knew from the dentist office, and she's like, "Hey, I know this is a little embarrassing. Can you come and look at a problem we're having with paint? Blah 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 blah." So I was like, "Oh, absolutely." So we run. You know, we don't charge for our site visits, and you know, every once in a while, someone will ask for advice. She's asking, hey, how do I fix this? How do I fix this? I'm on my phone looking up stuff from our local hardware store, which is called Menards. And I'm screenshotting stuff. I'm texting it to her. I'm walking her through how to do it. And I was like, this is absolutely ridiculous. So it was about that same time. I think it was like January 2022. I remember coming back. We took a week off and, you know, just family time. Coming back to the office, and I grabbed our current team there, Cole and Micah, sat in the conference room, and I go, hey, I've got an idea. This is a crazy idea, but what if we kind of disintermediate our business, like all the simple business, and we, you know, try to come out with some training or kit or something all in one. You know, you can go to Amazon, press a button, or, you know, go to our website, everything shows up, right? And it comes with training. And it's kind of because we were, you know, the market speaks to you every once in a while. That was my market moment where, man, this keeps coming up. People keep asking for advice. I go, we need to do something about this. So I'm scouring the internet. Nothing is out there. So you can get like a, you know, a $2 to $40 kit maybe on Amazon. Some of them are a little bit more expensive. But it was like cheap tools, not what we would use, all of that stuff.
Or that you would recommend to someone.
We wouldn't even recommend them. So our idea, we weren't trying to go, hey, get together with the actual tools we use on projects.
Yeah.
And that was our goal. So, so that was January 2022. That year, I did in the spring, we were gonna first try a trim kit and kind of gave up on that. We might so daggone hard. Total failure on that. Well, not a failure. We learned a lot. And then I think that fall we did our first big full shoot. But just learned a lot from that, made a few errors, like just type of color we were painting and what we wanted to do and all that stuff. And then, I mean, during this whole, it's not like we're doing this full time. Like we're still running the painting business.
Yeah.
Most of us are in the field painting for our clients and customers. And, so that's kind of how it got started. And then, let's see, the big push, kind of working it on the side for a lot. There's a big push through 2022, 2023, kind of cruised through it, just developing some stuff.
Design.
All that stuff. Like oh
the
my
actual
goodness,
box.
the actual box. Like my hat's off to people that actually launch a real product because like getting the box, it was like a Lord thing. Like sales guy came in because we bought some cards. I asked him, hey, where do you get your boxes? He was actually from Uline. I'm not sure if I should say that or not. They don't do custom boxes, so he got me a supplier of actually the custom boxes. They were like right down the road in Fremont, Nebraska, which was fabulous. So that took forever. Oh my goodness. And then let's see, fall, probably September of 2022, October, somewhere around that, started our real big push. So we've been running really hard for 12 months. Brought on a team from Florida to help with like a lot of the back end because like this webinar is simple, but like when you go to like a big box store or something, their website and they got nurture emails and they contact you back, dude, there's like a dozen softwares talking to each other. Like
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Well, that's
We're
over
like,
my
we're
head.
like, we just want to give them the tools
Oh
and
my
answer the main
gosh.
questions that they have. That's it. Like, how do we do that?
So we brought in a team, partnered with another team, Purpose Driven Media, Colin Stack out of Florida. He's fabulous guy. And then he's got a team that helps us with all that stuff. And then we've got Thomas Wicker out of Pittsburgh. He helps us. And then Rich Walsh. I'm getting your name wrong probably. Richard, he helps Colin's team with a lot of the complex back end. It's just so yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it got started. And I'm kind of one of those guys where, hey, can we try this in a limited capacity to see if it works? One thing we didn't do, which was a major risk, is like we didn't do any surveys. We just had people, we just started talking to customers.
Yep.
Like, yeah, I talked to one customer. She was painting her whole house herself except for a tall stairway. And I was like, hey, here's our idea. What do you think? And like just learning pain points, like a big pain point for people and myself is like, hey, what type of paint to use, what sheen in that paint, and then what color. So there's kind of three things just on the paint.
Yeah. Or even like, I'll say meeting with customers to just present estimates and things like that. So many of them just not understanding what process is best to make sure that they get the results they want. So maybe even ask the question of like, hey, do you have any construction projects happening before this? Because sometimes if we're even in a kitchen, like, oh, I'm gonna get new countertops, backsplash, whatever it may be, or cabinets, and just helping them walk that process of going, hey, well, we want to paint this at this, whatever it may be. So there's that aspect of it too, of just like, if we can help even, hey, this is when you want to paint, or here, you paint your trim first, your wall and your ceilings, or whatever it may be. There's so many questions even there of like, where do you start?
Yeah. And so that just kind of brings us to like, that is how it came to be, but like, what is it? It's just a one-stop painting kit for the DIY person. And specifically, like if you're the type of person who project, you want to do it right the first time. And are you the type of person who, when they do a project, you want to walk away and you want to be really proud of it? Not something you're like, I did it myself, but like you walk away and you're like, I'm so proud of that. And when people come into your home, it puts a smile on your face because like, I'm the one who did that. Then painting the box is for you because these are the best tools. We have all the just time into all of the techniques and knowing what the best stuff is. And the feedback I get from people in the field all the time, I tell them about what we're doing and they're like, that is such a great idea. Because they're like, man, I go to the store and there's 3 brands of brushes, but there's like 12 variations of every brand.
Sizes.
sizes, bristle type, angle, length, thickness. And they're like, the roller naps is even worse. And then the tape, there's a $2 roll and a $12 roll. Like, why don't I just get the cheap stuff, you know? And so like, these like, I just don't know. And talk about the time you spend going to the hardware store back and forth because you forget this and then you forget that. With this, it means just one click on your front door. It's so easy. There's just no friction. You need to get extra stuff because you're like, dude, I want to do a big project. You could just add that kind of stuff on because you've just already bought it before and you know exactly what to buy and what you've used, and the stuff lasts for a long time. Obviously, they're not reusable stuff. But yeah, so like I am truly passionate about painting the box because I'm a professional painter, and so like I already know how to do this stuff. But if this was around for anything else, plumbing or any other kind of thing, I mean, woodworking, there's so many things where I've spent so many hours on YouTube, like, hey, I want to try to learn how to do this. I want to learn how to tint windows on a car, or learn how to do some woodworking, and trial and error and trial and error and get decent at some of it. But man, it'd be pretty easy if it's just, you know what, I'm going to spend the money, one click, I'm going to get the knowledge, because that's the biggest thing that we can offer truly is the knowledge.
Yeah.
But
Because we were just trying to, hey, is there some kind of place we can like bring all the knowledge together and give to people? And it's not like, okay, for instance, it's not like the way I tape it is the way, you know, TJ would tape, but the final result will be the same. So like, I remember filming the wall painting course. Like sometimes we would have arguments. Hey, are we supposed to do it that way or should we do it this way? You know, so like even masking the windows, we had like 2 different ways to mask the windows, right? And we show that in the course. So it's not like, and we're still learning too. So we have like, there's like 3 pieces to the Paint in the Box business. So we've got like the products. So our first product is the Paint in the Box for the wall painting kit. There's like 46 items in there, like
Something like
26,
that.
27.
And
different
and
tools.
those tools again are tools
Yes.
paint companies.
And they're
Every day.
recognize them too, big box stores, but they're not the cheapest. So for instance, like quarter-inch core, like I see a pretty handle over there.
Yeah, like this bucket with the brush.
Yeah, stuff
Maybe
like that. This guy right here, like if you clean it, take care of this right, last you 10 years. Like probably
we use those for 2, 3, 4 years, and we use them every single day.
Every single day. It's
Yeah.
just crazy. So are we out in the market trying to give people like the cheapest? No.
Nope.
We're just not that, and that's just not our clientele. So that was our heart, because like we do a lot of high-end houses in the Metcalf Paint Creation by Linda business, and like customers are fabulous to work for, but they have a very, very high bar.
Yep.
And so we want to use the best equipment, because let's say this roller breaks down. I mean, you got to pay someone to go get stored, do all that stuff. So so we've got the physical box. I'm very, very passionate and excited about the actual learning material, the course. So we've got a 74+ video course that goes through the, you know, just the simplest stuff, breaks down all the steps, just like a franchisee would, like in, you know, a scooters, you know, you've got everything there. So like
from prepping.
oh yeah, like the taping section, what's it got, like 13 something different, dozen
Tiny
different
little videos.
or something like that.
Short
or,
little
like,
clips.
Taping different things. So we've got those 2 things, and then what Colin really pushed us into, which I didn't want to do at the very start, was the community. And that's like the 3rd piece to the spoke is we've got an online community where painters can come, they can ask questions, and it's really not, we're just facilitating the conversation.
Yep.
It's not like we're going to be there the whole time answering all the questions, which we will be involved pretty often, but like stuff like this webinar and events, and like we're starting something called like what's it called, Tip Tuesday.
Yeah, we try to give a tip every Tuesday from us painting.
Yeah. And like we could like, there's literally thousands of videos you
That
could
was
do.
real
So
original.
we're focusing what?
That was real original.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're focusing on like the wall painting, like just your sheetrock wall painting first. But like we want feedback. Like we've already gotten feedback from customers. Like I know a customer on the East Coast. He was texting about, hey, you know, could you include an option for a longer, you know, roller extension? You know, the one we include is about 2 feet long, and he
2 to 4. It's a 2 to 4 foot.
You know, could we include a 2 to 4 foot instead of a 1 to 2? You know,
You mean a 4 to 8?
no. We actually have a 1 to 2 in there.
If you
So,
wanted to, if you
yeah,
wanted to.
so
Never
it
mind.
worked
Never
great
mind.
for like
That's-
8-foot walls, but if you
Okay.
got like 9 or 10-foot walls, that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
And like, still haven't figured out how to put a ladder in the box. We're working on it. We'll ship you a ladder.
Yes, yes. Yeah, with all that, like Joseph's saying, give us feedback. We want to know your thoughts on things, but even within the community, our course and our kit and all that. Yes, like even Joe said, like there's so many different things on Amazon. You can look up YouTube, find information, get everything all in one place, and it's trusted by professionals that have used it. And it's brands you already see. Another great thing is most of this is a Sherwin-Williams product, and the thing of going, that's common in most of your areas. So you should be able to
Yep.
resupply or wow, I can't even find the word.
Resupply,
Thank
repurchase
you.
level. Yeah.
Resupply from that or online through Amazon that we've provided those links to. But our whole goal is just to all in one place, help you guys. And with the kit, there's that tool guide that talks you through everything. And then you get a 15-minute free call with us to just answer any questions. So like our whole goal is just to help you guys with the painting.
Yeah, we're trying to reduce the friction of painting.
Yeah.
Cause like,
Yep.
we take this for granted in the Midwest. So I'm a 5-minute drive. I used to be a 2-minute drive from the shop. 5-minute drive. I was visiting my wife's sister lives in Atlanta. Oh my gosh. You just try to go, if you have to go onto the main interstate during like rush hour and you're trying to get to like a Walmart or something like that. Oh my goodness, that's a big trip. So like, we're just hopeful that this solves a lot of like time issues for people. Like instead of, oh my goodness, I've got to hit 2 hardware stores. I'm in Atlanta and it's going to take me 2.5 hours, 3 hours. And then, oh my goodness, I'm out of this or forgot that. We just want to solve that across the board.
Yeah, and what I guess we can even open this up, like, what else do we feel like this helps prevent? Like between our kit, course, and community.
Oh, dude, biggest thing is you want to find out what's expensive, hire a painter who doesn't know what they're doing. Like when you got to do something twice, by the time you put into it, the materials, if you're doing it yourself or hiring someone else, like it is so worth it to do something right the first time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, or even think of just even the process of things in the sense of not knowing where to start, not knowing, hey, do I need to prime this or not? And
Yep.
then you don't prime it and you paint it. Next thing you know, your paint's falling off the
Yep.
wall. Or
one big thing I run into when I do stuff that I don't know is like you finish and then you go, okay, so next time, and I got my list of I'm gonna do this and this and this differently, and I totally forgot this, instead of just like, man, if I knew I could have had that tool or I knew that I needed to do that beforehand, it would have saved me so much time, and then I would have been super proud of it and knew it was done right instead of it's good enough. Next time it'll be better,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, like these. Most people like they think this is to actual paint small surfaces. We use these to cut in. So I thought Linda was crazy. So we partnered with Linda, let's see, on a project in 2015. We were doing just a large office building, and she's like, hey, look what I'm using. We're trying this out. So we would actually cut with like the ceiling line with a brush when we were first started, but like we don't want those brush marks anywhere. So what do? You use one of these small rollers. Also, like if you're in the corner, like going down the corner, I used to take the brush all the way down. Like you can take the brush to get like the very,
Jeez,
very
man.
back, but then like probably 5x faster. So it's just little things like that we've learned over the years and developed over time. We used to use paint cans to dip our brushes out of, like that bucket we found. And like some people use, and there's no right or wrong, but some people use like a smaller version of this, but they're not using this, right? So like literally I can have this right here. There's a magnet in here and I can do that. Look at that. I can talk and do whatever. And
Climb a ladder,
do all that
juggle,
stuff. But so
eat
it's like
peanuts.
this
while
looks
you
really, that looks really simple. And it is when you know it, but it's like when we first started out, it was like dark, like we're just trying to do things the best of our ability. And that's what I like, that's what my favorite part of working here is with the team we have, is like they're always trying to press a limit and challenge me, like, hey Joseph, why do we do things this way? Well, that's stupid. You know,
Yep.
have you ever thought about doing this? So, anyway, so we just have a culture of innovation. I'm super excited with like all the stuff we're going to be working on, the stuff we're thinking about right now that we'll be rolling out. But, yeah, this first whack at it is really, really cool. So,
What would be the one item in the box that you feel like, hey, this is the most exciting thing I feel like in the box, or this is essential piece maybe of, without it, it doesn't make the box.
I'm gonna say the green frog tape. I have walked on to so many friends' DIY projects. They're like, hey, I got questions and stuff. I'm like, hey, I can do, they call me because I'm a painter. Hey, let me swing by. And I walk in, I'm like, oh man, I wish we wouldn't have used that tape. And they got the whole place taped up, and they're using something that's super sticky and gooey and might tear off paint or varnish or finish off of cabinets or trim and all
or
that kind of
bleeds
stuff.
easily.
And it bleeds super easy.
Yep.
So that's what I'm gonna say. Like that frog tape, dude. I mean, it's the $10, $12 roll tape, and
Yeah,
it is
give me that frog table.
so worth it.
Yeah, so this
Per
frog-
roll,
yeah. Shoot. He's kind of stole my thunder. I was gonna say probably a small roller, but it's hard because like each of the individual pieces are so important. And like in every kit that we develop or work on, like, okay, we were arguing probably a year and a half ago. We're using this really wide, expensive Purdy roller tray for the main roller, which is 9-inch roller. And we were looking at box designs, all this, and we're like, man, this roller tray is making this box too expensive. It's taking up space. Cause like when you have like products here or boxes or Amazon, like every single square inch makes it more expensive. So we were arguing about that. And like one person, they're like, okay, well, what if we can like cheapen it out? And I go, okay, would you use that roller on one of our job sites? And they're like, absolutely not. I wouldn't. It's like, well, why is it not in the box? So
yeah.
Same thing with this frog tape. And yeah, so I'm just excited that it's not like our team knows it all. We absolutely do not, and we're learning and innovating all the time. But like,
Yeah, I see
you know,
what you did there.
Frog tape.
Frog tape.
wow. Because like, okay, you're taping your nice painted trim, right, with this frog tape. Well, if you don't know that maybe you're supposed to take your trim paint and seal the edge before you do anything on the wall, sounds like, oh, I can skip that. Well, do you want nice clean lines? Like this tape, very fabulous, engineered not to bleed. You're always going to bleed, right? If you're working the paint in left and right, it's going to get under there. There's ways around that. That was fun for me.
Yeah, we show it.
Yeah, showing them the course, how to get around that. So a lot of the stuff seems common sense, but it's like, hey, if I don't know the tools, once you know them, cool part is, dude, once you know this and you learn this, I mean, the rest of your life, it's like riding a bike.
Yep.
Yeah. Which is cool because I mean the investments of your home, your like other family members or whatever it may be. The biggest thing is we're just like, hey, we have a system that has produced as high quality results. And it's done it over and over. And
Yeah,
over again.
let's see, we were trying to calculate the hours on job site hours. I think we're at like 125,000 job site hours.
So
Yeah.
it's like, if we can take that knowledge and put it in a box, in a guide, in a video course, in a community, we want to do that for you. So I think that's what's cool about it is in the box of having the guide that literally walks you through where to start, what process to do first, what the tool is used for. I feel like that's probably the most valuable piece to me. It's like, I have all this equipment, but like, how do I use it? So I feel like that's
Yeah,
just a
and
nice
I'm excited
thing.
because we can serve more clients, right? So we typically, depending on the year, it's between 100 and 250 clients. We do higher ticket paint jobs usually. Fabulous, we got to serve 150, 200 people, but what if we could take this knowledge and send it to 10,000 people every year, right? So that's what I'm really excited about is, we get to help more people just solve problems. And whether it's, a new color in your daughter's bedroom. I've got an 18-month-old daughter, and I know I'm going to be painting her room probably once every couple of years. And, or it's, kitchens or bathrooms, entryway. It's just so neat just to have the tools
Yep.
and the resources. And so that's what we're trying to build here.
Yeah, I enjoy thinking about the why behind what we're doing at like a really deep and meaningful level, because I can sit here and think, oh, all I do is sit and I put paint on a wall, and it's like, where's the point in that? I'm not a doctor who's saving lives every day or anything like that. But when I think about it and like, well, you know what? I got to be a person who comes into someone's house and their building, and this has been their dream for years. And I got to be a part of being the team that makes us home, and there's going to be decades of memories built in this house. I got to be the contractor that shows up on time, does things right the first time, is really great to work with, and smiles and talks to them, and it's one less headache on their table, on their plate or whatever. And so like with the painting the box, like the last thing I want is for someone to be out there trying to do on their own project, and they're in over their head and they're really frustrated and they didn't get the right thing, and then they're throwing things and they're mad because
Or have to hire a professional.
or they get halfway through and they're like, forget this, I'm going to hire someone, and they still spend the extra money anyways, compared to like, man, I want them to be able to do what they want, change that wall color, make it beautiful, be super happy with it, do it right the first time, and they're like, that one like a dream. What better am I painting next?
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Or who
yeah.
can I share this with?
Yeah.
In the sense of the
Yes.
next person and be like, because this worked really well for me.
And when I think about it, I think there's a lot of people that would do it themselves if they have the confidence that they could do it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So there's like this huge gray area between the high end professionals and like just beginning. And like we put everything together where if you're a professional, if you're, in the mid range,
Yep.
or if you've never painted before, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just doesn't matter.
I agree.
Yep. Yeah. Which is just the coolest part, because we get that excitement of being able to help people here in Norfolk. But if we know that this box can do that for you or across the world, is really cool. And if we can all join together to do that,
Yeah,
is awesome.
absolutely. So
Yeah, I feel like we've spent a lot of time just in the box, in the kit and stuff like that. But just one thing I like to just ask is what's some good advice we'd give someone that's maybe just starting out in that beginner stage, not knowing where to start. Even if they don't buy our kit or not, or see our stuff, what's some advice we'd give to someone that's just starting out painting?
I would say if it's not us, go find someone who's a professional painter that everybody knows that person, or go find someone who, they're the people at church that are the DIY go-to people. They know how to do it. Just reminds me of like, we've got several good contractor friends, and I don't know much about building. Hey, are we allowed to do this? Can we do this? And I go to them and ask them first.
Yeah.
They could like send you in the right direction. And that's what we're trying to bridge. So I would say getting the right information before you go out and spend money on tools and paint and all that stuff. Because we work with a lot of clients where it's like, hey, would you like to use leftover paint, all that stuff? And maybe they bought the wrong paint.
Yep.
Couldn't agree more. It's people. Like,
Yeah.
people have knowledge, and there's so many things that I've done where I've gone to somebody and that I know has done something before and asked them, and I'm just like, all right, I know what to do. I know how to do it. Things I would have never thought about. And yeah.
Yeah. Or I even think of, from even a local Sherwin-Williams, or maybe you guys are Benjamin Bayer or whatever it may be. Any of those places too, very helpful in the sense of recommendations of paint or whatever it may be, or processes of things. But I even just think, more importantly too, of just really, if it is your first time, it's gonna be. I remember I've done a little painting. Remember masking. But
You're good.
I still get nervous. Like I do, like, when it's like, all right, I'm gonna roll this first coat or second coat, and it's like, okay, like this matters. It's okay if you're a beginner and you're just starting or whatever. But I believe if you take the time to get the information and different things like that, you're more than capable of doing it, and you'll be able to get really good, high quality results from it too. So it's okay to be nervous in those ways of things. But let's flip it. Let's say, hey, experienced painter, someone that knows a lot, been painting forever. What could they gain from this, or what's our advice to them in the sense of things?
Yeah, I would say, if really experienced. Something that I am now, I'll admit, I'm fairly young, right, compared to you and Linda. And Linda's been around doing this forever. But I still even want to remember this is don't be too set in my ways, because I run into another painter somewhere else, or we hire another guy on the team who's got painting experience, and man, there's been several things I'm like, I would have never done that. And I've been able to be humble enough to say, hey, can you show me how you do that? Let me show you what you use. And like, man, there was a product that one of our team members was like, hey, we should use this. And I was like, I was very skeptical. And now we use it across the board in our company. And we absolutely loves it. Save times, easier to work with, all that kind of stuff. And just to realize, like, I don't know what I don't know. And there's always things to learn. So
That's really good.
Yeah.
What you got?
Well, I even feel like sometimes I feel like in my own experience too, is when you become an expert in something, it's easy to look down on other people's opinions or views too, of being like, oh, that's not gonna work, whatever. And like Aaron said, like, man, I've been painting for a few years or whatever, and there's guys out here that have been painting for 30, 40, 50 years, and I'm going like, these guys know nothing about the realm of painting, you know, and there's a lot of truth to that, in the sense of there's a lot for us to learn, like we're saying. But to be able to go, hey, like, let's learn from each other. Let's not sit here and bash on even, oh, you're using this product versus this product, or this roller or this roller, whatever it may be. Keeping that open mindset, like Aaron's saying, is going to give you the opportunity to just grow and go, wow, I could either cut my time down or my expense down by this process, or you just get a better result by doing it this way as well. And I even just think of, man, there's so much to learn too of, I mean, all these companies we're talking about, I'm sure our box is not even going to look the same 10 years from now. I'm sure there's gonna be different products that are gonna be a lot better, or I mean, different lines of paint come out constantly. So it's like, what's best? What's gonna evolve to be the next thing? So I think that's what could help too.
There's multiple ways to get from point A to point B.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and but the goal is to get to point B and to do it right. And so we just know this is how we do it. We know this works, and we know it will get you there. And so there's other guys who might
there might be another
have
route.
input on doing
there,
things a little bit differently, but this is what we personally see as the best and what we know is the best so far. So
Yeah.
Like, it's similar to like a lot of guys hand cut their accent walls. You can totally do that. You can totally make it look pretty good. A very, very good painter can make it phenomenally good, but it really has a lot of factors. Like, did the sheetrocker put a good line down there? If the sheetrocker didn't, there's no way you're doing it.
but if you're a paint ninja, it doesn't matter. You can do everything good.
Anyway,
Snap out of your dream.
But like, we've chosen not to do it that way, and we don't teach it that way. You know, we actually mask the wall, seal it, pull some paper over, because like, we don't want the bar to be, hey, you got to have X number of years of experience, X number of hours to get so good. We don't want the bar to be there. We just want, hey, you can have 0 hours of experience and still have that perfect line down the wall.
Yeah.
For sure.
And with Joseph saying that, I think a lot of people might look at that and go, oh, why are they doing that? It's just like Joseph saying, hey, we don't want to, you have a high bar up here to say you have to have all this knowledge experience. What we don't want is you to have to lower your bar in results. So it's like, hey, let's take you from someone that doesn't know, but your results will always be up here if you use our process, which I think is what's the coolest thing about it. Yes, it might take you longer or whatever it may be, but this process of things will
we do a lot of unconventional stuff. We spray a lot, and but obviously we're not going to teach that in like a home DIY course yet. But like, we do a lot of masking. It's very, very counterintuitive to clean it right, mask it right, cover everything. But like, on the back end, okay, what's that save us? Touch ups, how fast the paint pulls, clean lines. There's nothing to clean, you know, not as much to clean. Even if we spill something on the floor, everything's covered, right? So like, we're just eliminating, you know, that factor, which really actually saves time.
One of my favorite mottos is slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what's left? We got anything else?
Yeah, no, I know I said before, I mean, there's a list of questions we continue to go through, but I'm sure half of you have fallen asleep in your chair right now. Or I don't even know, it's Thursday night. Let's see here. Do we have like football on tonight? I don't even know.
I don't know.
It's probably way better stuff to be watching right now than paint. But I don't know if there was any questions. Our guy that's helping us with questions saying there is no questions. real lively today within this webinar.
But this was good for us because like I hate being on camera. I want to be the guy behind the scenes, and like Colin was pushing us to do this just so we have just maybe like an hour, 45 minutes of part of the team just talking about what we're doing would just be good so that we could even look back years
Yep.
from now and go, oh my goodness,
Look at
we started
Look
there.
at yes.
I think too with that too is yes, we get to make ads or different social media posts or whatever it may be, but it's really hard explaining to people what our heart is in a 10-second ad or whatever it may be.
And you can't really like be yourself and goof around
Yeah.
and like
Yeah. So it's just like these are such like for tonight, I feel like it's great for us to just even be able to share with you guys like, hey, this is where we're at. And we're just here to help you guys. So I think that's what was the coolest thing about this webinar.
Yeah, so I think we would close with brought to you by Planters Peanuts, honey roasted. And anyways, you guys have a fabulous night. Thank you for spending your valuable time with us. And we will see you soon. Hit up paintinginthebox.com. Hit up the community. We've got a great community.
Free.
Yep, it's a
Yep.
free
Doesn't cost you
community.
anything.
Just go to the community tab. Click that. There's links in this webinar, I'm pretty sure. And then we've got all the social media platforms as well. So we'd appreciate it if you would like, subscribe. And this is really about, bringing the really, making the really hard stuff, a whole lot easier just to the everyday people. That way, you don't have like this huge pile of tools in the garage from like 20 different painting projects and you're not using half of them. Humongo waste of money. Seen that all the time.
Or you get done with your painting tools, like, how do I clean these?
Yeah, how do I
do
clean them? Yep. So
That's
we just bring you through that whole process. So we would love to see you on any of our social media channels and in our community. And you guys have a fabulous evening and have a wonderful day.
Great day to be a painter.
It's a great day to be a
Great day to be
painter.